Good afternoon. My name is Chiu. I'm one of the education career counselors here at beautiful Marine Corps Base Hawaii in Kaneohe Bay. And today I have the pleasure of meeting with one of my favorite clients. This is Miss Crystal. And Crystal is actually a very unique client of mine because her academic history is quite unusual, and I'm kind of used to it, just myself being a military brat and veteran too, and she's the same. She's a military brat, and that's a good thing, we can say that. And so, Christy, would like to introduce yourself and kind of tell them your education struggles in the past 15 years?
Okay, sure. Being a military brat, we were stationed overseas in Okinawa, and being in Japan at the time that we were there in early 2000, there weren't a lot of options educationally, but I wanted to be there with my family, so that was really important in the life experience. And I was lucky to find a job not long after I got there, so since I had a job and was enjoying that time with my family, I just sort of adapted my original education plan and settled for a degree in communications, going to school part-time with the University of Maryland, with the intention that if we were sent back to the East Coast to Maryland, that I would be able to go back to the campus there if I had to.
Awesome. And you are exactly one class shy of getting your bachelor's degree?
I am. I have one more that will be coming in October. The scheduling is limited since I'm in the final courses and I have to take those specific courses. So it's just my senior capstone in communications, and that'll be completed by the end of this year.
And how's that going to feel?
Amazing, amazing. Like I finished a marathon. Literally like I finished a marathon.
So you've literally been doing your bachelor's degree for the past 15 years?
15 years.
15 years.
Yes. On and off, and not steadily, but pretty much in a part-time status. So that's really what drug it out, and then plus changing locations.
So Crystal has actually mentioned to me that she now has an aspiration of going ahead and pursuing her passion, which would be in social work or something with human services. So what we are going to discuss today is how to get her on the path and financially fit to pursue her master's degree program. And she's very lucky. She has 3 opportunities that may present themselves next year in 2016. Her parents are once again going to relocate back to the mainland. So 2 of the 3 choices would actually be relocating back with her family. And so we're going to discuss that and maybe some options for her. And it's going to be a very interesting session. I hope she finds it very informative. So what we first talked about was Crystal's father very most likely would get stationed in Atlanta, Georgia. So in Atlanta, Georgia, within a 25 to 30 mile radius, there are actually 2 schools that have a master's degree in social work. The first one would be the Georgia State University, and the second one is Cael University. Are you familiar with any of those 2?
Oh, Georgia State sounds familiar. I've never heard of the other school.
Okay, so what I was able to do was I pulled up and did a comparison for Crystal. I compared what the cost of tuition would be for both schools. So for Georgia State University, the tuition for a graduate program is going to come out to be about, here it is, it'll be about $4,600 for 12 or more credit hours. And then the difference with the Kennesaw Master's Program would be about $3,300. So a little bit cheaper, and actually the cost of living for that area is the same, Atlanta, Georgia. And what I did for Crystal was I pulled up a great website that I was able to look on the internet. It's called Numbeo, and what you do is you can actually put in 2 different cities, and you can see what you would need to make to live in one city versus the other. So what I did for Crystal was, she and I both know how very expensive it is to live here in Hawaii, so I kind of did a cost comparison based on Honolulu to the new locations, just to give her an idea of what it's going to look like and what kind of budget she would need to set. So for her to move to Atlanta, Georgia, the Consumer Price Index actually would be a 24% increase lower than what you would spend here in Hawaii. So basically, you could make 24% less in a salary and still have the same standard of living you have there. Another big one was the rent prices, substantially lower in the Atlanta area. But that may not be an issue for Crystal because she'll probably live with her parents if they live there, which would be great because then you could, if you had a part-time job, you could save that money and go to grad school with that as well. And it goes down and just basically the local purchasing power in Atlanta, Georgia is 47% higher than here in Honolulu, Hawaii. So it's right. I mean, we understand that, like, we talk about gas prices and food prices, and it even goes in and it tells you, like, restaurants and meals. It goes down to, like, if you go to the grocery store, their marketplace, so a gallon of milk is $3.37 as compared to Honolulu, which is $6.14. So it's basically, half price when you're looking at stuff like that. So it's a great website. You can just compare about any city in the United States. And of course, the bigger cities have more information, the more data they collected. And we'll see the other cities that she chose, maybe not so much. But it's a great website to look at that and just kind of get a comparison. Because like I said, we are trying to focus in on the financial aspects and how much money we'll be able to save. So you can take that with you as well. And then the second choice that Crystal, her parents may be offered would be an assignment at Fort Meade, Maryland, correct? Mm-hmm. So the only thing about the Fort Meade, Maryland, the only university that's within a 50-mile radius drive would be the University of Baltimore. Are you familiar with that school?
No.
Not at all? Okay.
I'm familiar with Baltimore, but...
with what?
I'm familiar with Baltimore.
Baltimore, right? So University of Baltimore, a little more expensive as far as the graduate program. You're looking at about a $9,000 tuition for a 12 credit or more schedule. Mm-hmm. And cost of living index, about 26% is what you're looking at in Baltimore. Your spending power would go a little bit further there. And a good thing about the University of Baltimore, they do have, are you familiar with graduate assistantship programs?
No.
So what they do, it's kind of like a work study program, but you're actually doing research for a facilitator, an instructor, a professor. Mm-hmm. So you would actually, my understanding is not only receive a reduced amount of tuition payment, but you could also possibly get some college credit for the work that you actually perform based on whatever the research is. So that was one of the interesting things I found out about the Baltimore area. So again, you would be living with family members most likely, so we don't have to worry about the rent or whatever. But we also did a cost comparison for Baltimore. And as you notice, it's only 19% lower than Honolulu. So then again, when you get to a big city, it'll be a little more expensive. So you're looking at $10,000 for tuition per semester, and then we start factoring the cost. We're almost like, it's almost like being back here in Hawaii, mm-hmm. kind of sort of for you. So that was just one thing we take a look at, and you can compare that as well. And then the third choice, which I think Crystal's going to find very interesting, she mentioned a school, Portland State University, which is obviously important for Oregon, but you've either been to Vancouver or you know people who are from there?
Yes, I've been to Portland many times, so I've kind of checked out the area. And just over the bridge, it seems like a lot of folks live over in Vancouver or Washington because it's cheaper to live there and then work or do whatever in Portland, in the city. So
you don't mind the weather and the rain?
Oh no, I get my Nirvana on.
Well, what's interesting with Portland, and all of the graduate fees that I've based out today would be for in-state tuition, because Crystal would have to establish her residency there in order to afford to go to graduate school. It's 3 to 4 times the cost if she didn't do that. So obviously, that would probably mean you would have to maybe wait 12 months, get a job, which is not a bad thing because we can save up money, correct?
Exactly. Well, and being a military brat, I'm used to the relocation, so that would be probably more of a natural thing anyway for me, just by habit,
right.
of moving around.
Like if you're not working, you wouldn't know what to do, correct?
Probably, at least have something.
Because based on what I know about you, you volunteer anyway most of your time, so
mm-hmm.
It's phenomenal the things that you've done in the past with your volunteerism with the Big Brothers and things like that, which I understand, which is your passion for social work.
Exactly.
So I think you'll be excited about this one because Portland State University offers several scholarships throughout their academic department. There's the Presidential Scholarship, to name just one of many. It totals about $150,000 per year that they give out to students who are pursuing a master's degree in social work. And the in-state tuition for graduate program is $3,200, which is very reasonable. And then there was another website that they had linked up to the Portland State University, which I thought was really interesting. It's called fastweb.com. And you can get on there and type in, your graduate degree, and you can be very specific about interest and your job potentials or where you want to work in the future. And they will pull up companies and different things that are offering scholarship or internships. And I was able to find, just based on what you were interested in social work, 69 scholarships that could possibly total $150,000. So I'm not saying apply for all 69.
But yeah,
but it's a start. It's really good to know that there's a resource out there, and the school is actually working with students to bring them into the institution to study the social work. And I think what you'll really like is the cost of living comparison. So rents in Vancouver, Washington, 47% lower than Honolulu. Much more affordable housing, as well as even like restaurant prices about 13% lower, groceries about 33% lower, and things like that. And I've also made a comparison for you here as well. So you can kind of take a look at, milk is $3.50 a gallon as opposed to $6.14 here and stuff like that. So you can see where your purchasing power is going to go a lot further in the Portland area. And then I also did some research on potential jobs in that area for social work. And starting salary, is around $47,000, anywhere to $60,000 for someone with a master's degree is what you're looking for. So that's, that would be a very comfortable salary for you at that particular time. How much money do you currently owe for your student loans?
It's about $20,000.
Yeah. So we definitely don't want to take out any more loans for you. So we're gonna look at trying to get you scholarships and graduate assistant programs and things like that. But one of the most exciting things about the Portland State University program is they actually have a degree program that's online for your social work. So you could do maybe part-time online and then work. You could schedule your work hours around that. And then, when those classes and the ones you really have to be physically inside the school, the brick and mortar school you could attend, you could also do that as well. So it's very flexible. The other schools, I did not find any online opportunities in the actual social work. And I know that you had to kind of sacrifice your bachelor's, just not going after the social work degree, but getting the communications degree. And then what I like about the Portland State University one is that they don't require you to have a core foundation in your bachelor's in order to apply for the program. The other ones do.
Oh, okay.
So
there's a lot of flexibility.
A lot of flexibility. There are a few more credits you have to take with the Portland State University class just to get you the foundation of it. But it's not like you'd have to go back and basically attend another year. Exactly. So if you look at it in a nutshell, the most affordable, just looking at it basically, would be the Portland one. You like the area, what the cost of living is. I even printed up a little blurb about a house, a little condo in Portland, right inside Portland, not Vancouver, but Portland, around 700.
Okay.
So you're downtown Portland, right across from the stadium.
You would
walkable.
Never find
that here.
In any way, no.
So what do you think about the options, and how optimistic are you about it? Because I know your big drawback was having to draw out the process like you did with your bachelor's, and I don't want to see you get discouraged with that.
I think it's good. I think my timeline I gave myself, because I'm 36 years old, I was thinking within the next 4 years at least, but trying to, not my 5-year, my modified 5-year plan, but thinking, okay, I'll be 40. So if I established myself with education and started a new career track, I would still have 22 years that I could invest, in that new career. So that was my focus, and I think these are amazing options. Definitely, I had thought that Portland was a good call, but with your additional information, it really,
Sounds good.
makes it an even more appealing option. The Georgia one as well sounds good, and I definitely maybe look more into that second university that you mentioned, Kennesaw. I know there's a lot of great, lesser known
Right.
universities that, are like hidden gems.
And they may offer more opportunity for the scholarships and financial aid, the grants and stuff like that too.
Exactly, and there's always, something there once you dig into it more. So it's great to know about that opportunity as well. I think Baltimore, as I looked into it, the safety issue, and then also I know that little triangle, that Washington, D.C., Virginia, Baltimore area is still quite expensive. So probably in the condition I'm in now, it's better to go for in the short term, more optimal, with the cost saving.
Right.
And then, once I have my degree after a few years, if I find more job opportunities, maybe I could, be closer to my family if they should be in that area.
Right. Absolutely. And also, don't forget, here in our education center, we have tons of resources. So because your father, he's retired now, correct, or
Yes.
civil service?
Mm-hmm.
But he's an Air Force veteran?
Air Force veteran, and he's in the civil service.
So, there may actually be grants and scholarships because you're the daughter of an Air Force veteran
Mm-hmm.
that would, pertain to you as well. So we have resources like this in our education center as well as a library, which you're very well aware of that. And then, the scholarship and grant prize that comes out from Peterson.com every year. Millions and millions, if not billions of dollars probably go unused because people just don't know about them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's actually sections in here for people looking for scholarships for social work and psychology and things like that.
Okay.
So we can definitely go in another session and kind of look at that and more pinpoint those things. But do you have any questions or any concerns or?
No, this is amazing, and I really appreciate all the work that you put into this, and definitely that website, that's a great find.
Isn't it?
That's a really great find. So
We use it for the transition courses too, with people getting out of the military and they're relocating. They have no idea what they're going to. So
it's a huge thing,
resource.
cost of living,
Cost of
and
living.
you may think an area sounds like it's great, but once you really look into it, it's like, well, actually, I'm setting myself up. So,
Right.
So I really like that resource, and I'll definitely have to look more at the data you found. But no, this is fantastic.
Well, great. I'm glad you gave the opportunity to do this with you today. And like I said, we'll meet again and we'll talk about pinpointing some more scholarships for you, maybe some programs that have stipends for social work, where they're like, if you go into work for a nonprofit like Marine Corps Community Services, they'll actually pay back some of your college debt.
Oh.
So, those are opportunities out there as well that we can pursue in our other session. But I thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Aloha, everyone. Thank you.
You should put your cup out front. Your Texas.
Do you like my
Chiu
prop?
From Texas.
That's my prop. Make it still go and stop.